2 a.m. and she calls me 'cause I'm still awake. Can you help me unravel my latest mistake? Dropped a stitch about 17 rows behind me. There's no way I can pick it up from where I am.
Hello and welcome to the Sittin and Knittin podcast. I am your host, Dianna. I'm also known as His Handmaid on Ravelry and on Plurk. I'm known as His Handmaid 1 on Twitter. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for new viewers. Thank you for giving me a shot. I really appreciate it. And thank you to returning viewers because I have not recorded in over a month, and I know what it's like to really appreciate and get to know and enjoy a podcast, and the podcaster just fades out. But I also understand life happens, and I don't want any podcaster to feel obligated to podcast just because I enjoy watching them. But it is really nice, and I feel obligated to podcast because I made a commitment to podcast, and I want to podcast as much as I can. When I first started this podcast, it was in June, and I was not working, and I was home a lot with the children, and I was knitting, and that was that. And just in a matter of a few weeks, I started one job, and then a month or so ago, I started another job, and my knitting time has been scrunched down to nothing. So I'm just still, like I said, trying to find a rhythm between home and work and the squeeze podcasting in. And in the midst of all of that, my ASL studies have suffered some. So now what I do, instead of knitting during my lunch breaks and my breaks, is I do most of my studying then. And then when I can't get home, it's time to be with the children, catch up on housework, or just fall out because I'm so very tired. So for those of you who watch through the blog or through Blip, you can find me on the blog at sittinandknittinpodcast.com. No, sittinandknittinpodcast.blogspot.com, or on Blip TV as the Sittin and Knittin Podcast, or Sittin and Knittin Podcast, know the. But for those of you who are not in the Ravelry group, or who don't follow me on Ravelry or Plurk, I did start a job in retail in July, the middle of July. I am a cashier at a large retail facility, and then in August, right after, or so, I'm sorry, in September, right after Labor Day, I started as an assistant kindergarten teacher at my children's school. So I do get to go to school with the children. It's just Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm there from about 8 to noon, or maybe a little bit afterwards. And the children are there until 2:30, but I can visit with the children while they're in their classrooms. And I'm actually in the classroom with my 5-year-old who is a kindergartner. So between that and working 30 hours plus at the retail, an average of 30 hours, things have been kind of busy. I'm not trying to give an excuse, but a reason for why I have not podcasted and an explanation. So let's get into what you're here for, which is the knitting. Our first segment will be what's in my hands. Well, if you didn't notice, I did not have a what's out of my hands segment, which I think is what I usually like to start with. And I did have a finished object. I did finish the Louis the Lovebot monster for the Rebecca Danger monster swap that I was participating in the Joni Knits podcast. And I rushed and sent him off and did not get any pictures of him or record. I wanted to record with him before I sent him off, and I didn't get to do that. So, Miss Claire, if you're watching, will you please send me a picture so that I can stick it in here on the next podcast and also stick it in on my Ravelry page. But I did finish him. I ended up crocheting a heart for him. If you remember from the last podcast, I tried to do the double knitting, and I just was not liking how it was turning out. I've never done double knitting before, or I'm sorry, duplicate knitting. I've never done duplicate knitting before, and I think the reason why I didn't like it, how it was looking, was because I was using bulky yarn. So I may try to do the duplicate stitch again with a smaller yarn, but it just was not working out for me. And so I thought of embroidery. I've done some embroidery, but again, I did not think it would look right with with the bulky yarn. So I ended up crocheting a heart. It came out a little smaller than what I would have desired, but the monster was made with a lot of love for Miss Claire and just appreciation for her, and she says she's enjoying him. So, and I sent him along with my favorite skein of yarn. I have two sacred skeins of yarn. Well, actually three. And I will talk about one of them later, two of them later. But the third one is some yarn I got from, I believe it's the Sockaholics website. And the girl that runs it does the Yarn on Tap podcast, and it was a beautiful yarn in blues and greens, which is Miss Claire's favorite colors as well. And I had just been stashing it. I had it for a while and didn't know what to knit with it, and it was really dear to me, and I just felt like sending that along with love with Louie. And Journey wrote a story to go along with Louie. So maybe if Miss Claire feels like posting that in the group, she can do that. I don't remember what that was, but so that was what was out of my hands. So I did get something done. Now, as I said before, we will go to what's in my hands. Well, what's in my hands? Right now, what's in my hands, and I probably should have gone to it the end of the row, but I am doing the calligraphy cardigan by one of my favorite designers, Hannah Fedek. I do not remember where I was. Um, Friends, I just really just hurry up and gathered things together. I wanted to get this podcast out because I wanted to talk to you about what I'm going to cast on. And so I really did not look up the show notes and different things like that like I usually do. So I don't remember where I was last time we spoke, but I have the ribbing on the collar all done. This is the calligraphy cardigan by Hannah Fedek, and I am knitting it out of Knit Picks City Tweed, and I think it's the Larkspur colorway, and I got this on clearance, the colorway. And so I believe this was about 7 inches of 2x2 rib, so the collar will fold down. And I am starting on the increases, and I am doing a make one left, make one right increase, just like she advises in the pattern. And I really am enjoying it's just knitting. It's knitting back and forth, but doing the increases that I have never done and keeping track of which way is make one left and make one right is keeping me interested enough. The yarn is keeping me interested enough. I believe these are my Haya needles. I forget which needle size it is too, but I also wanted to show you, I had made some stitch markers. I don't know if you can see them. I had just got some little rings from Joann Fabrics and little beads, and just made some plain stitch markers because I found, I'm not sure if I talked about this on the podcast before, but I had been meaning to. I really, really like the dangly stitch markers, but unless I'm knitting in the round, when I'm knitting back and forth, they really bother me because when you switch sides, then you have to flip it over. You know, maybe that doesn't bother some people, but it just seems to me that it gets in my way, it takes more time, or my yarn will end up getting wrapped around it in the wrong way. And I would rather have the ring type markers knitting back and forth. I like the dangly markers when I'm knitting in the round because they can all stay on the outside, and that works well. So I made some of these, and I'm on a knit row. I mean, I'm on a purl row. So this is how far I've gotten. Not sure when I'm going to get it done. It's one of my favorite things to pick up, but also my other project is. And my other project it was for the Sacred Skein Knit Along and the Positively Knitting podcast hosted by Nicole, who is Hot Ass Knitter on Ravelry. And I believe that the knit along is over with. Excuse me just a second. Alrighty then, I am back, and hopefully this will work. My yarn was caught, and then my recorder stopped recording. It said that I didn't have enough disk space, so I had to clean up some files. So I believe the knit along is over with. As I said, I think it ran through July and August, but I'm still knitting with the Sacred Skein of yarn, which is Vesper, and I forget the name of the colorway, and the yarn was gifted to me from Nicole, and here is the yarn, and I'm knitting the hitchhiker scarf, and I have gotten not quite 20 points. So I'm not quite halfway. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm starting on my 18th point because I decided to put a stitch marker at every 10 points to let me know where I am. So this is the hitchhiker scarf. First of all, I guess I didn't say at the beginning, I'm recording in a different space. One of the things that I like to do was to record in the daylight because I like the daylight better, but squeezing this in, it is about 8 o'clock at night, and there's not enough light in my living room, so I'm recording in my kitchen. But I think actually the lighting is better because I'm hoping you can see this looks more purple than it did blue the last time. So this is what I usually pick up if I'm in a vehicle or even if I'm at work and I only have a short time, and so I don't want to pull out my dictionary. But I have had to rip it out a couple of times, maybe rip back as many as, a whole point, which would be about 8 rows. Because when I picked it up, it may have been a little bit of time and I forgot where I was or what I was doing. So that's the hitchhiker. The only reason why I picked this up sometimes a little bit more than the cardigan is because it's a little smaller. So I have it in my purse most of the time. But that's the hitchhiker. And those are the only 2 things that I have on the needles. So we will go to goodie bag, I believe. Goodie bag. So I wanted to real quick share with you what Miss Claire, she's Miss Claire on Ravelry, her name is Claire from Indiana, what she sent to me in the Joni Knits podcast swap, because it's very, very cute and I love it very much. And so I wanted to share that with you. So she sent to me Violet. And this is, I believe this is Hugo, the couch potato monster. And she made her very feminine. in my favorite colors. I mean, this monster is just full of love. She's beautiful. She made her in my favorite colors, purples and greens. Violet, she made felted violet a purse. Violet came with a purse, a green purse, felted green purse with a beautiful uh, flower button. Please don't look at, well, my nails I know look bad. Purple flower button. And Violet came with a very sweet story about her and her boyfriend Stanley and what she likes to do. And inside of Violet's knitting bag, she has her mini skeins of yarn, and she has, this is just ingenious. Violet has her projects that she's working on. Here's one project. Here's her knitting needles, and she just cast on with this pink yarn. I hope you can see that. And I believe she has one row knit. So cute. The detail and the love that went into making this was just, I just am beyond words. So thankful and just so appreciate it. It's just so cute. And then here's Violet's other project, and she was making with green, and she's got these knitting needles, green knitting needles, and here's her skein of yarn. She's got two projects going on. And Violet also likes to bake cupcakes in her spare time, and she likes to photograph them. So in her knitting bag is a photograph book where she has photographed the different mini cupcakes that she makes. And I love, well, that wasn't a cupcake. And I just love cupcakes. And so Violet does too, and she likes to bake them. And she also has she had another little knitting notebook in here. Just very, very cute. And so thank you so much, Miss Claire. I'm sorry I did not get the pictures up in Joni's group in time, but I hope by my posting this on the podcast, you know how much I love and appreciate the time and the effort that you put into Violet. And I did send her a private message. And I just really, really, really love her very, very much. And this could have been enough, but that wasn't all. She also sent to me a bag, a canvas bag with my name. I think she said it's screen painted or some kind of way of embroidery on it. It's a very neat bag with a firm bottom. It opens up at the sides. It is and this bag was just filled with all kinds of goodies. It was filled with notebooks, pens, highlighters, stitch markers, just tissues, all kinds of goodies. So thank you very much. And I've used them, and so I don't have them all to show, and it would be too much to show. It would take too long. But I also wanted to say that she also, in her kindness, sent one for Journey. Journey has a bag with her name. This is I just can't get over her kindness. And this bag is purple. I don't know if it looks blue. It looks blue to me on the screen, but it's purple. Mine was black, and the lettering is purple, and the flower is purple. And she sent Justice a blue one. With Justice's name is written in purple, and Justice has hers filled. Both of the girls use their bags, and they take them to school, and not to have the boys left out. Excuse me. I'm sitting on the boys' bags because they used them today, and they're in the chair. She sent each of the boys a canvas tote bag, just so they can have a little something too. She didn't want to leave them out of the box. So that is our goodie bag. And thank you, Claire, for doing that for us. I love it and I appreciate it. And it was so talented and so creative and so special. Thank you. Aspirations. Our next segment is aspirations, which is the reason why I felt really compelled, and also after reading the thread that Nicole started in my group, or Hot Ass Knitter started in my group, I felt compelled to record today. Today is October 1st, and I don't know if I said that in the beginning, and I apologize for not doing that, but this is October 1st. And I had said in my last couple of podcasts that I would like to, for the month of October, I know it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and pink is the sign that we use to alert people or raise them to. When I think of see pink, especially if you see a pink ribbon, or in October you think of breast cancer awareness. So just to raise the awareness of people about breast cancer. There are a couple of different podcast groups that are doing a pink knit along. I'm not planning an official knit along because I know that I may not have the time to dedicate to it that I would like to. But I would maybe like to join one of theirs or just kind of work on my own. And so I talked about knitting the My Hope shawl. And let me see if I can pull that up for anybody who does not know what that is. This is the My Hopes shawl. It was designed by Laura Linneman, also known as Lala on Ravelry, and she is the host of the Knit Girls podcast, video podcast. And I fell in love with the shawl just because I like shawls, and I like the way the shawl looked, and I like the idea of the charity behind it. And my hope is, when I hear that, it reminds me of my hope, who is Araya Hope, our daughter who passed away in January 2011. And Araya Hope had a seizure disorder, and she wore a pink helmet. And so I don't know, that's just how it went for me with this particular project. But it all came together that I wanted to knit a My Hope in honor of Araya, or in memory of Araya. I'm not sure if, I don't really wear pink, so I'm not sure if I will wear it or if I will donate it or what. I just wanted to knit this shawl because it was called My Hope, because of the love that went behind making the pattern, because of the charity that it went towards. And then I thought, what better time but October, during Breast Cancer Awareness Month, when a lot of people would be knitting pink, to knit it. So that's why I'm knitting it, and I need to cast it on tonight. And I am using hand spun yarn. It's a gradient yarn. I showed it to you before. That was gifted to me, and I can't remember her Ravelry name, but I believe her name is Dianna. And I'm sorry, I can't remember your name. Maybe I'll try to find that and have Journey type it in here at the bottom. But this is hand spun yarn, and it has a little bit of sparkle in it, and it's gradient. And yes, I will do the beaded bind off, I think, and I will be calling on friends because I've never done beads before. So that is my aspirations, and hopefully I will be starting that soon. I'm aspiring to do that. I'm aspiring to do the Piper's Journey, which was designed by Paula from the Knitting Pipeline podcast. I'm still wanting to do that. And I'm also wanting to do some stripy socks for myself. And I would like to do some stripy fingerless mitts, because my hands do get cold, and it hasn't even really gotten to fall weather yet, but I need fingerless mitts so I can still handle the money and everything. But I would like to do that. So those are all the things that I want to do. I may even do the mitts before I finish the calligraphy cardigan. And I was kind of thinking of finishing the hitchhiker first to see if I had enough yarn from the hitchhiker to make the mitts out of that. So somewhere soon I want to do the mitts, and as soon as I cast off the hitchhiker, I want to do the stripy socks too. So that is what I'm aspiring to. Our next segment will be our ASL minute. For our ASL minute today, I wanted to kind of share with you. I was talking with Nicole from the Positively Knitting podcast and saying I didn't know where else to go. I thought we had done the greetings and we had done most of the things, articles that you knit. So I wasn't really sure what to share with you. And we came up with, where is the local yarn store? So in ASL, American Sign Language, you would translate that into here, and then you would say yarn store where, because there's really not a sign for local. Or you could say yarn store here where, and here would be more like saying local. So for yarn, it's the same sign that you would use for string. You put your two fingers together and you kind of untwirl them. Untwirl them out. I see you can't see it real good. So that's yarn. Yarn or string. So yarn store. It's like you're holding up merchandise. If you wanted to say shopping, you would push your hands forward one time, because verbs move most of the time forward once and nouns twice. So this is shop and this is yarn or store. Excuse me. So you hold your hands up, your fingers down, your thumb is behind your fingers, and you say, push it forward twice. Store. Store. So we have yarn, store, here. Where is it? So yarn, store, here, which we're translating from local. Where is it? And I believe we did where before. You kind of crease your eyebrows in when you're asking a question, a WH question, and you kind of put your finger back and forth, kind of like you're looking on a map or looking somewhere, like where do I find it? So yarn store, or excuse me, yarn store here. Where is it? Where is the local yarn store? What's on my iPod? Well, my iPod has bit the dust. It hardly comes on and it hardly works, and it's very disappointing to me because I used to listen to podcasts a lot while I was traveling. It's about a 40-minute drive back and forth one way to work. And so I have not been able to listen to much on my iPod. I still, even though I don't have a lot of time, I try to catch up with my favorite podcasts. I have not seen any new ones. I really have not watched any new ones that I really feel like I can highlight right now. I'm glad to see that Joni Knits is back off a hiatus. I still always watch Stockinette Zombies as soon as it comes out. Positively Knitting podcast as soon as she comes out. My favorites, Round the Twist is another one. The Knit Girls is another one. Knitting in Circles is another one. I try to watch Yarngasm because now she is doing a video podcast and an audio. Um, one that I can highlight, I guess, is this creative idea. And I cannot think of her name. I'm sorry, I can't think of her name right now. A real sweet lady. She was doing this creative idea, and she started a part-time job, and so she put it on hiatus for a while. She brought it back, and she changed the name because now she's focusing on just knitting. Where this creative idea, she thought she would podcast about different things she was doing, and so her name is on the tip of my tongue. So it's now called As We Knit, and I believe it still comes in the, I didn't have to change anything. It still came in the podcast iTunes feed under this creative idea. And if you're a fan of hers, you already know she changed the name on the Ravelry group. But she's doing it audio and video. And so if you can't watch her, I don't think she's done another one, so I haven't been able to listen to it. I just watched the one new episode on the video. But that is a new one because I did like to highlight smaller ones. So that is another one. Another one, too, that I like to listen to as soon as it comes out, if I can, is Knitting Brooklyn. And, of course, Knitting Pipeline is one of my fave audio podcasts. So that's kind of what's on my iPod. I did talk about a book that I was listening to, and I can't even remember the name of it. You'd have to go back to the previous episode to see. But we talked about how racy it was, and it was pretty racy. So I did, that's all I'm going to say about that. So that's where that book went. And so right now, I'm not really listening to anything. I do have one book in my CD player. It's called The Battlefield of the Mind. Battlefield of the Mind, and it's by Joyce Myers. And that is what I have been kind of listening to. I've been finding it hard to focus on it, so but that's all that's I've been listening to. Weight loss tip. This is a segment that I said way back in June that we would have, and I have not had one at all. I've not done anything with it. But if you have not noticed, in the month or so since I podcasted, I have gained weight, and I don't know how much because my scale has I've conveniently misplaced the batteries and have not made a real effort to find the batteries for my electronic scale. I do need to go ahead and get batteries for that, but I haven't done it. But I can tell. I can tell in my face and the way that my clothes fit that I've gained a pretty significant amount of weight. So I'm back on my weight loss journey. Hopefully this, as I tell my children, is a lifestyle change. It's not a diet. The program that I am following right now is a program that a coworker who is the children's teacher has done, and she started it at the end of the school year last year. And I believe she's lost about 40 pounds, and she looks fabulous. And she was doing the 17-day diet, and it's not a fad diet. It's a diet written by a doctor, and no, it doesn't just last 17 days. But there are 4 cycles to the diet, and each of the cycles lasts 17 days. By the end of the 4th cycle, you can eat basically whatever you want. But when you start at the first cycle, it's basically lots of protein, lots of vegetables, no carbs, and that's for 17 days. And then you start adding in healthy carbs, brown rice, sweet and white potatoes, healthy carbs in every other day. And then I forget what the 3rd cycle is. And then the 4th cycle is when I can have my cupcakes again. But basically, it's teaching you how to eat and how to eat healthy. And so it's not like I'm going no carbs for the rest of my life, though it has been very, 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 very hard for me. Because I love sweets, I love bread, I love pretzels, but I know that I need to cleanse my body of a lot of the toxins that the white sugars and flours were putting in my body. So I've been trying to stay away from them. I have grabbed a couple of fries. Tonight I grabbed a couple of fries from the children because they made homemade fries. And I did have some potatoes. But I started it Friday, and mostly it's like I said, it's high protein with lots of green leafy vegetables, and basically it's chicken and fish and green leafy vegetables. Two fruits, and 2 servings of yogurt or a yogurt type product a day for the first 17 days. And it's called the Accelerate Cycle. It's supposed to accelerate your weight loss, and then you start adding in the carbs back in. So my tip, um, be creative. Something that I did last night that I have never done before is, and maybe you all have done it, is made a tuna patty. I have never fried tuna before or cooked tuna. I mean, I've cooked it in casserole, but I was looking for tuna recipes, and we ate salmon growing up. I have not made any lately, but I found a recipe where you just, mix an egg with your tuna and make it into a patty. And I just sprayed the pan with non-stick cooking spray and fried it, and it tasted pretty good. I mean, it didn't taste bad. I like tuna salad. I like tuna on grilled cheese, tuna melts, but I've just never had it like that. A tip, lots of water. One of my favorite things to drink with the water to really accelerate weight loss. I had lost 40 or 50 pounds within the last year, so I do know a little bit if I keep up with it. I know the right things to do, I just don't do it. But the mother, apple cider vinegar, just a little bit in your water. It's healthy for you. It helps your body flush out toxins, and it helps your stomach to digest what you eat, and that's what I've been putting in my water. So that would be my weight loss tip. And hopefully from now on it'll be shorter. Just I'm hoping that I can just continue. It is a struggle. Every day it is a struggle. And it really comes down to a temperance issue and just disciplining myself. I just feel like that I need to do it so that I can be healthy. And that I just feel like I'm tired of just giving in to my stomach. Every time my stomach says it wants something, or my taste buds, I just kind of give in to that. And I want to take back the control of it. I know that I will be able to eat my candy bars and cakes and things in moderation and time. But right now, I just want to, for health reasons and to lose weight, discipline myself to eat the right things. And it's a struggle every day for me. So if anybody else is struggling with weight loss, if they want to share in this episode's thread different tips you're doing, you don't have to do the 17-day diet. The book is available at Walmart for about $20. I didn't want to pay that much, so I waited 2 weeks and ordered it. I waited for it to come 2 weeks, but I ordered it off of Amazon, and I ordered it used, and it's in very good condition for $10. It is, like I said, written by a doctor, and it is an excellent book, and they do have results. I personally don't feel like it's a fad diet, because it's not just a temporary type thing. It's a lifestyle change, and he explains all of that. So I have been listening to that too, because I I did get the CD from the library, and now I have the hard copy. So if you would like to share any of your tips, low carb to no carb recipes, favorite finds that you like to buy, I would love to read that in the thread, and I'm sure it will help someone else. Wow. So for wow, I always feel like I'm doing a food for wow. I haven't done wow the past couple of episodes because I really didn't know what was really wow to say wow for. And I just thought of something, but I'll finish my thought. I had not eaten in a long time pears, fresh pears, and I had a pear for a snack today. I usually my fruits are berries or apples or bananas, and bananas are a no-no. They're high in sugar. So anyway, I ate a pear, a Bartlett pear, and it was delicious. So I want to say wow to the Bartlett pears and wow to the Honeycrisp apples. It Fuji and Honeycrisp apples are not like your average apple. So if you've never had a Honeycrisp apple or a Fuji apple, specifically look for that next time you're in the grocery store and have a taste of it and tell me what you think. But our other wow is Journey and I attended a concert on Saturday. And I don't know if you all know who she is. I will maybe try to post a link if I do show notes. But Nicole C. Mullen was in concert locally where we live in Dayton, and it was wow. She was very inspiring, uh, from the top of her diamond tiara to the tip of her red Converses. She was in a red formal dress, and she sang, she's a gospel singer. She sings, I don't want to say gospel, but Christian music. I wouldn't necessarily classify it as just gospel music, uh, but it was very inspiring and very encouraging. And so that was excellent. And I appreciated that very much. Oh, the girls are reminding me I have a lot of wows. This will make up for me not having wows for a while. I forgot. We brought in a stray. Um, Again, my co-worker, the girls' teacher, said that this stray was on her porch, and he seemed scared for some reason. Maybe because the children are jumping around. And they had already brought in a stray 2 weeks earlier and couldn't bring in another one. They're not even cat people, but they fell in love with this little cat they brought. And I was telling them that, excuse me, I was telling them that I wanted a cat, and I didn't. So this is, I think we're going to call him Pete. We we haven't decided yet, but I think his name is Pete. And I have no idea how old he is. Wait a minute. I want them to see his face. He all of a sudden is very afraid of the kitchen. He was in here for a little bit. He got on the table while we were eating. We told him no a couple times, and now he doesn't want to be in the kitchen anymore. But this is Pete. I think he's about 4 to 6 months old. He's still not using his litter box regularly, so we've had him since last Friday, so about 10 days. So he spent most of his time just learning to use his litter box. And he spends his time mostly in the bathroom unless we're holding him. And we've been bringing him out some, and so this is Pete. So he is our wow. A contest. I forgot. I'm not sure if Journey's going to put this in at the beginning where it should have been, or if it'll just show up at the end where I'm slipping it in because I forgot. Thank you for your patience for our our August share contest. And I asked you to share um, how you fit knitting in you during your busy schedule Where share different times or ways that you squeeze knitting in. And we had 30 people respond in the thread on Ravelry. And so I'm going to use the random number generator. And I can't see if you can see it. I have put in number 2 because I was the first post, and 31 because that is the last post. And I'm going to hit generate. And the result is number 26. So number 26, post number 26 is knit to crochet. And she says, I usually knit while watching TV or watching a podcast. Sometimes I knit while reading a book. So thank you, Knit to Crochet. You are the winner of the August share contest. And I would like to share with you a giftable pattern from Ravelry. Any pattern of your choosing, $7 or less. So please download that. And I would also like to do another contest. And I think I talked about this the last episode. And that would be where we have 141 members now, and I wanted to do one at 100 members. And I don't know what happened, but anyway, I didn't get it done. So I want to do a contest for the members in our group, just for being a member. So I'm going to put in number 4 through number 141. And number 4 because I think myself, Justice, and Journey, were we the first one? First 3? Did you all join right away?
No, ma'am.
Okay, the girls didn't join right away.
I did.
So I'm going to go ahead and put just number 2 because I think others joined before they did. Number 2 through number 41. And then I'm going to hit generate. And it generated number 99. So the 99th member of the podcast, of the group, who joined the Sittin and Knittin Ravelry group, you have been randomly selected to win a giftable pattern, $7 or less, because I am terrible at mailing off things. So that's why I have not been doing yarn and different prices like that. It's easier for me to get your prize to you if I'm gifting you a pattern. So if you will hold on just a second, I will go through the Ravelry thread document and see if I can find out who that person is. Okay, I hope this works out for you to see who the 99th member is. And the 99th member is Purple Rockstar, who is Nicolette, and she joined on July 7th, 2008. Nicolette, I would like to ask if you would please allow, I don't know if that would be fair or not, but let me turn the camera back. Let me turn the camera back in just a second. Okay, Nicolette, if you would allow, since you just won our July share contest, if you would allow me to please draw another winner, I would like to let someone else get a chance to win a pattern. And knowing Nicolette and the way that she is and the way her heart is, I'm sure she would be okay with that. So I am going to go ahead and generate again. And 2 through 41. Hello. I hope that I have enough disk space now. I am sorry for the interruptions, but as I was saying, I was going to generate again, and I hit number 25, or I generated 2 through 141, and this is number 25. I have downloaded the list of our members from Ravelry, And if I can find that download for you, we can see who number 25 is. And number 25, please take my word from it, is Maybe, who is Linda. And she joined on June 16th, 2010. So Maybe, um, thank you very much. I believe you are the 25th member. I'm having a little trouble figuring this out. If you can see, um, she has a number 26 and another number 25 by her name. But as far as member number, the member number 25 is for Maybe. So, Maybe, thank you very much for being a member of the group. I remember being with you and from the very beginning, and you have just been very supportive to me and to the podcast from the beginning. I love all of the members. I appreciate all of you who've stuck around. I appreciate all of you who have joined. And I have not had a podcast up in about a month. This was supposed to be a short episode, but apparently um, I talk a lot. I'm trying to make it short, and I was encouraged that if I made it shorter and did it in smaller bites, it would be more doable to me. And that is exactly what I was trying to do. But it seems like I've gone on and on and on. So um, we have our knitting circle, and then we'll be done.
Hi, and welcome to Journey's Journey part of the podcast. I'm your host of this part of the podcast, Journey. So this week I haven't done knitting. I haven't done knitting in a long time. So, anyway, but I have been doing something. I've been doing piano a lot, and I've had to practice a whole lot. And I have been using this book. And I don't really know how to play any songs yet. Actually, I do know how to play a song. This song, really boring song, and this song. So yes, so that's what I have been doing. And let's see what else. Oh, and then I have to do this. I'm having it just with like a private teacher, like not like with a whole bunch of different people, not like a big class or anything. So I've been using these books. Let's see, and the other one is this one, and this is where it's kind of like a workbook called the Note Speller, and I have to go and answer the questions about note. And the really hard thing about it is learning the A's and the B's and the C's. It's the really only hard thing about doing it, but it's really fun and I like it. So this week is supposed to be, and I have piano on every Wednesday, but I have to practice like a lot during the rest of the week. These are these books. And what else I've been doing? I haven't really been doing anything else. I wanted to make this, but I still haven't finished my doll yet. And that reason why I haven't finished my doll yet is because I lost some of her pieces. So I have to find them before I can finish her other pieces. So I have not been doing my doll. And yeah, but I have been cooking a lot, and I have been coloring a lot of pictures. This is my sister's Justice's. Oops. And she let me do something in it. And let's see if I can find that. Ah, here it is. Let's see. There you go. It's a really big card. But yeah, that's what I did. Yeah, you can see my initials up there. So that's what is what I've been doing too. I'm doing a lot of coloring and stuff. And then I made up a new recipe for broth. But so I haven't really been doing that much. Oh, and we started school. So I've been doing school. And it's really hard. So I have not been knitting a lot this week or this few past month or so, or however long it's been. So anyway, so that's all for Journey's Journey. Oh yes, and I did make up another recipe for how to make broth, and I did make up something else, how to make eggs and chicken, and what else? I think that's all. So yeah, I've been making up recipes and coloring and practicing my piano and doing school and riding my bike. So yep, I haven't been doing a lot lately. Anyway, so thank you for visiting Jenny's Junior part of the podcast. And Justice isn't going to have a segment today. Oh, she just changed her mind and said she is. So, well, bye. Bye. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Court of Justice. I don't have very much to talk about. I barely did any knitting, but I did work on a scarf for convention. It's a very long scarf. I worked on this scarf for our school convention because we go to a convention where you can enter stuff, and you can enter knitting and different things. So I worked on this scarf for it. Yep, it has two holes in it where I did some adding the yarn, but I'll get that fixed as soon as possible. And I used Lamb's Pride bulky pink yarn. And I also used dyes. Size 13 needles. There's circular needles. And I also work on a bag. See? And I use the same yarn. I really do like this bag. I haven't sewed the straps on it yet, but I intend to do that. Well, as soon as possible. I use the same Lamb's Pride bulky yarn on it. See? So, yep. And I was going to enter this convention where you cannot enter felted knitting, so they can check the gauge of your knitting and see if you made any mistakes. And let's see if your rows are even. So and I also used the Lamb's Pride bulky yarn with the same size needles. With the same size needles. circular needles. And I also use the I-cords, the very same size needles, because I was being lazy. So I didn't feel like changing needles off or anything. And let's see. Oh yes, for the scarf it took me 2.5 skeins to do this scarf. But I don't know why I use pink because I probably never wear pink. And that's it for knitting. Oh yes, there was something else I had to show you. There's this. It's a porcelain doll that my sister got me for my 15th birthday, and it's totally cute. See the gold necklace on her, the gold frosting. But I think it is totally cute for your 15th birthday, actually. I thought you said 13th. And I think it is totally cute, and that was really, really sweet. And she also got me this pillow to go with her. This silk pillow to go with it all. Yep. So I want to collect more porcelain dolls, but I only have 2 so far. So yeah, that's what I have. Oh, and there was something else really cute that I wanted to show you. It's I like sun catchers a lot, and I like to collect these also and hang them in the window. I really, really like this one. It's really pretty. There's about 7 of them at the garage sale, but this was the one I really wanted, and it's the one she got. And I really like it. And I think that's it for Justice's Court of Justice. Yeah, Court of Justice. So thank you for watching, everyone, and we will be back soon, as soon as possible. We have school tomorrow. Oh yeah, so yeah, we have school tomorrow, and I've been on here a minute longer than I was supposed to. So bye. Thanks for watching.
For my knitting circle, I would just like, I feel like I've been talking. I've shared with you what's going on with my life. I apologize for doing that. I usually don't like to do that until the end of the podcast, but I did that at the beginning. I've shared with you just what I've been knitting, and I would just like to say thank you. The other day, during my lunch break, I believe it was last week, and I can't remember the day of the week. So if you know the day of the week, please private message me. I was in Panera Bread because I had a free gift card there, and I saw a table of ladies sitting and knitting, and it was just so. And I was feeling kind of down that day because I had not brought my knitting. And I think I did have my dictionary, which is what I usually use to study when I'm on the go. I did have my American Sign Language Pocket Dictionary, but I was just feeling a little bummed because I hadn't knitted in a couple of days. And lo and behold, I saw a group of ladies. I was in Troy, Ohio, which is where I work. And I saw a group of ladies sitting and knitting, and they were very friendly, and they invited me over. And I didn't go over, number one, because I was eating and no one else was eating, and I didn't want to be the only one sitting at the table and eating. But I didn't have my knitting either. But they knit there. They say they meet there every week. And so I may have lunchtime around those hours. My lunch hour varies depending on when I start work, but I do get a whole hour for lunch. So I may be able to go over there and sit and knit with a brick and mortar group. So flesh and blood group, whatever you want to call it. That was very exciting. One of them did recognize me. She had seen the podcast before, and I don't remember your name or your Ravelry name. She did contact me on Ravelry, and thank you so much for your kindness. And if any of you who were there are watching the podcast now, knitters are very sweet. You all had smiles on your faces. You were all very welcoming. I am a very shy person in person. Yeah, I said that, person in person. So it was just very nice. And so I really appreciate that. Another thing I wanted to say, and this will go with as far as it will go, but I know I have a small audience, but as we're getting closer to the holiday season, and I think people start shopping now, and it will really get crazy, and things like that. I just want to encourage everyone to be kind when you're out there shopping. I personally have not worked retail during the holiday season, and I've been really looking forward to it because sometimes it gets kind of quiet where I'm working, and I'm just kind of standing around waiting on the customer to come through. And I keep saying, I can't wait for it to get busy, and everybody tells me, no, no, you don't want it busy. Well, there are some days that we do have it busy, the first of the month or something like that. But they say, no, it's a different type of busy than a Saturday busy or a first of the month busy. They said because the customers are in a different mood. And I guess customers may get more frustrated. They may be more hurried. They may not be as long suffering with other people, elderly people, coupons, whatever it is. So I would just like to encourage you, if you are going to be out shopping, take your knitting, and so you can pull it out while you're waiting in line, and let's try to be kind one to another. Like I said, I don't know how far this will go, but just, you know, there was one woman that came through the line, she said, and there was a reason why, if you can hold on just a second. I'm sorry, I had to compete with the children to talk with you. There is a reason why she said that when she comes on Saturday, she does not expect to get out early. She just knows that there's going to be a long line. And so because her mind was set that way, she was not frustrated because of the delay. So I don't know. Just try to keep it in mind, my small audience, to please try not to get frustrated with your fellow consumers, with those who are trying to serve you. And let's just be kind one to another this year during the holiday season. Well, I think that is about it. I did not really, I'm not sure what I have in mind yet for an October share. Here we are, it's October 1st, and I don't have a topic that I can think of. I did not get that far. But I think what I would like is, one of my favorite things about fall is comfort food, hot food. And so if you have a favorite soup or a favorite stew or a favorite casserole, you do not have to put the recipe in unless you would like. But if you would just like to share your favorite fall meal, your favorite comfort food, if you would share that in our October share thread, then at the end of October or at my first podcast in November, I will randomly select a winner. So if chili is your favorite, you can say chili is my favorite, or you can tell us what your favorite chili recipe is. If stew is your favorite, you can say stew, or better yet, you could link to or share that recipe for your stew. It would be better, or it would be nice, so that we could have some recipes to kind of stick in our box, that if you did know the recipe offhand or knew where to find it, you would post that too. But I don't want to make it, this is a no pressure thing. We're just a community of knitters here in the Sittin and Knittin podcast forum or there on Ravelry sharing. So if you have something, a recipe that you want to share, or if you just want to say the name of it, that's fine. So thank you for being with me. Thank you for being in my home. And thank you for sitting and knitting with me. Take care.
This is so frustrating, I feel I should just slam it down on the table and walk away madly. 'Cause my stitches don't count up and I missed a cable. This yarn's not the size that it says on the label. Now I can't find which repeat I am on. I think I should have a sit down.